So I'm here for the second time, and I could look at various scores of younger Ukrainian composers also the last time. And what I'm mainly impressed on this course now is that I met some of the young composers a second time, and this was fascinating how they could increase their abilities, also their artistic, how to say, the artistic strength and force. Yeah? And so this was mainly impressive for me, that in it's clear that there is a system, and maybe course, and I'm sure that course helps here very much, that the young composers, the young Ukrainian composers can really get very senseful, sense-making young artists, yeah? And this is really impressive to see how fast it can go, you know, from 2 years, it's just 2 years difference, and it's really a totally different approach, totally different connection to music that those young people developed. And this is what impressed me the most, I have to say. Well, okay. Oh, that's that's a hard question. So, at first I have to say that there are some artists and colleagues as well that I really want to get to know, and at the same time I maybe don't want to get to know them, because, you know, I, for example, admire an artwork of a person, and what would happen if I don't like the person? So, for example, what would be, I'm not thinking, because I'm totally sure that Beethoven was a very sensitive and very, he was a really strong but very nice person. Yeah? But what, for example, would be if I don't like him? Yeah? So that's a problem. So that's so I question where I want to travel. Yeah? So what I would like to know is how those musicians and artists were really thinking about their art, and not in a context of art speaking as it was in their times, as it is now, you know, transported to us. Yeah? So how, for example, let's stick to Beethoven, he would really talk about, for example, the fugue of the sonata for the Hammerklavier. Yeah? Because we now maybe hear it as some kind of a fugue, and if the theme is in the bass, it's more or less structured noise. Yeah? And I'm totally sure that he was thinking in a way, but of course it's never written, because music history and music theory would do something totally different. That would interest me. And to answer your question, there is something important for how long, because if it's just for 1 or 2 hours, that's totally fine. Yeah, but I'm not sure if I want to have lived in the Vienna of, you know, late 18th or beginning 19th hundred. It was stinky, it was smelly, you know, it was crowded. And so we face problematic times, but I have to say I don't want to live in any other time. And I'm very happy and I'm very lucky to have been born in a country like Austria, you know, because I had so big possibilities. Yeah? And there is something that I feel now, that these big possibilities that I got, yeah, to also, you know, to give a little bit to also to maybe to colleagues and students, because I'm sure that not all the countries and not all the people are as happy as I am, and so I'm totally glad with where I am and when I am. Okay, so I have a kind, for me, yeah, a kind of genealogy, which just composers that I really admire. And of course, this is more or less the German-Austrian tradition with some others. Yeah, And of course, I would really love to talk to a lot of persons. Yeah, maybe also not just to composers, but I would maybe also love to meet, I don't know, you know, a craftsman from the medieval ages. You know, how did they work with wood? Yeah, so I'm not so fixed on composers. But of course, you know, as I said, I would like a speech with Beethoven would be great, yeah? Or of course, having a good night with Mozart would be fun, yeah. And working with Mahler would be great. You know, I had really the luck and see original Mahler scores where he was also making corrections to his own scores, and I had the luck to meet some of the composers that I really admire. So I have some and artists, yeah. But for example, I would love also to meet artists, painters or filmmakers, yeah, how they think, yeah. And so that's. But I'm doing what I can, and I'm meeting as many artists as I can, so to have this kind of communication. And in fact, I don't lack any of those artists, and because it's really fine with what I have, and I'm not ungrateful that I will not meet Johann Sebastian Bach. It's fine like this. What I take out from this course, at first, what is fantastic is that none of those students or young composers left me in a mood where I was saying, okay, I just don't really know what's happening. Yeah, they all were forcing something from me. Yeah, they were challenging me. Yeah, and this is great. What I also then take from this course is that I see a big variety of descriptions or let's say of a possible contemporary music. And this is for me really great that in the Ukraine, and it's mostly Ukrainian and some countries like Poland and Russia, where the composers come here from, is so vivid in this connection. So there is no stylistic, you know, hegemony of, let's say, post-Shostakovichian composing, which might have been the case in 10 years or 15 years ago. So that there is a refreshing, those young, refreshing spirit, and those young composers are fresh, yeah, and they know a lot, yeah, so they have their knowledges everywhere. And then, of course, also very, you know, very nice and very encouraging personal speeches with the composers. Also, of course, with the colleagues. Yeah, and this is just a great communication. So I'm here for the second time. This might answer some kind of questions. So if I wouldn't really find it very necessary and a great thing course here, I wouldn't have come the second time. For this time, it's even for me more encouraging because I can compare it to the last time, and I see that it really brings something. Yeah, the students are really grew, maybe not just with course, but also with course. I will not just recommend, but I also recommend it to some colleagues who were also then coming here, yeah? Because this is something which I think is a great thing. There is it's a good structure. We're hosted perfectly, yeah, and we can work. And so, of course, so I did recommend it, and I will recommend it.